Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So this is a strange analogy to make because it's about Star Trek, and I'm going to make an analogy from Babylon 5. I've been thinking a lot about Babylon 5 recently. I'm looking forward to their animated movie. More word about that. J. Michael Straczynski, please. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. I am looking forward to that. But there's a bit at the end of, what was it, season 3 of Babylon 5, where it's a great cliffhanger. Essentially, the hero finds himself on the home planet secret base of the bad guys, right? And he has this cool ship, right? In season 3 of all space station bound shows, you get a cool new ship. On Deep Space Nine, you got Defiant, right? On this one, you got White Star, right? So he blows them up, and then you have this great. You always had very good monologues as the season ended. This was by Jakar. Fantastic actor. The guy, he played the one-armed man in the Harrison Ford Fugitive movie, which you haven't seen. Freaking awesome. What's his name? Andreas Klaus-Gies or something along that. A riveting performance. But anyway, so he does a monologue saying, and then in the peak of the Shadow War, everything seemed to stop, right? Inexplicably. That's kind of what it was like with Star Trek, right? Star Trek was being relentlessly awful upon relentlessly awful upon relentlessly awful upon relentlessly awful. I mean, I like the first 8 episodes. I still say I like the first 8 episodes of Discovery, but everything after that has been increasingly awful. I mean, just season 2 of Discovery it was awful, and it was better than season 3, 4, and how many other ones they've done. It's terrible. Picard was nothing like Picard. There was Lower Decks, which seemed to hate everything about Star Trek. It was awful, right? And the worst bits of this new Star Trek was when they referenced old Star Trek. You had like the Guardian Forever was now a bloke in a bowler hat. I was so stupid. It annoyed me, right? It annoyed me, and all of a sudden, for no reason, it stopped. Then Star Trek Strange New Worlds came out, and I expected to hate it, right? I was like, it's gonna be, yeah! And I really was. I was like, oh, look at her, I've got no hair, looks stupid, ah! And I was wrong, right? I was really proved wrong. And man, was that good news, because I had 10 weeks of very enjoyable Star Trek that looked freaking beautiful. Like, I love the aesthetic, okay? I love the aesthetic, but I love the characterizations, right? I do. I like Uhura. I like Nurse Chapel. I understand this isn't connected to the original Star Trek, even though the people making it say it is, right? It's not. No, it's obviously it's Kiva, whatever his name, Goldsman's riff on Star Trek. Now the weird thing is, we're about to on a live stream. I think on Saturday night. I live stream every night. Come and join me on a live stream. So the weird thing is, Akiva Goldsman was involved with all of the other bad Star Trek too, right? By the way, then after Star Trek Strange New Worlds, then we had Star Trek Picard Season 3. Sublime and wonderful. I mean, like, best Star Trek I've seen probably ever, right? It's freaking awesome. So we'll come back to Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. But yeah, the weird thing was Akiva Goldsman, seemingly like he speaks very warmly of all the other stuff he did. I don't understand, but what he says in this article, it sounds like we're on safe ground. I'm a bit worried about Carol Kane coming on board, replacing the engineer, who I thought was freaking brilliant. But, you know, look, they, against all odds, right, against all expectations, they produced a series, a season of TV, which I really very much enjoyed. I'm hoping they're going to do it again. There's one character there too much of, Lieutenant Lesbian Latinx. Other than that, freaking love this show. So anyway, it is a preview from the latest SFX magazine, and Akiva Goldsman going over what to look forward to in the next season. And honestly, he got me excited for it again. So there you go. I was a bit iffy, but he got me excited for it again. And you know, good for him. Starts in about a month. Looking forward to it. Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fan-freaking-tastic. Thank you very much for being super nice. Head over to Rumble and subscribe to me there. Look, I'm not going to guarantee you win the lottery or grow a 24-inch penis. You know, I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm trying to work out what size is worldly and yet, somewhat fearsome. I'm not going to guarantee that's going to happen to you, right? I'm not. But it might. You want to take the you want to take the chance? You want to take the risk? I know. I would subscribe if I was you. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Oh, that'd be like you wake up and go, oh my god, my penis is exactly like it's always been. In my case, glorious. I didn't subscribe to the Rabbi. Don't worry. You can subscribe anytime, baby. You can subscribe anytime, and it's okay. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fantastic. Now, let me hand it to me from a couple of nights ago. There you go. Star Trekking across the universe. That's all the men in it, so don't get excited. Fine, let's have a look. There you go. I like everything about this show, frankly. Apart from Lieutenant Latinx, lesbian Latinx, right? I don't like her. But I love Dr. Mabenga. And his costume. What's the name? Christina Chong is I get a bit of cunty vibes off her, and the character irritates me, but she's okay. She's just on the right side of okay. If she starts getting smug, I don't think I'll be up for it, right? There's some surprises in there. Star Trek Strange New Worlds showrunner Akiva Goldsman. Now, everybody hates Akiva Goldsman. Why? What's he done? And people don't like Titans. I didn't really mind it. Akiva Goldsman. I mean, he seemed very sincere in his desire to do the show that we've seen, right? He seemed really genuinely sincere in that. So, I'm just having a quick look. Did a bunch on Fringe. What we got? Dark Tower. It was a writer on a bunch of things. I think Angels and Demons, I'm Legend, Da Vinci Code, Cinderella Man. Okay, but so what? Batman Forever. Look, Lost in Space. I thought Lost in Space, the 98 Lost in Space was quite good, frankly. Did Fringe, Star Trek Discovery. Okay, you got Titans. People hate Titans. Short Treks, Picard. So he's done a lot of shit in Star Trek, but I think he seems very. I think he's a professional writer. Right? I think he's a professional writer, and he's written what he's paid to write. If he's paid to write for Star Trek Discovery, he'll write Discovery. This is something he seems to want to do. So I'll tell you, I like what he wanted to do. Look, honestly, the visuals of this show gorgeous, and the episodes themselves are good. Right? I like pretty much all of them. I even the worst one, the what's the name, Kingdom, it has a saving feature that it wraps up the Doctor's daughter's plot line very well, very, very, very strongly, right? Yeah. So I think okay, fine. So I think there's and I like the Gorn in this show. I know a lot of people hate it. I like it. Again, this is Akiva Goldsman riff on Star Trek. It's inspired by Star Trek. Like all the smaller folks, like he's not giving up anything too major. Yeah, there are more Gorn in season 2. That's he's happy to reveal. I think one of the big swings, one of the big weak swings is out there. He laughs when FX tries to push for more hints. We do a crossover with Lower Decks, and that's fun. I mean, here's the thing. This show looks quite good, but he's acting like everything else that's happened hasn't been awful, right? That's essentially what's going down with this. So I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be like when we cross it. I really don't know. Okay, I have to see it, right? I don't watch Lower Decks, so I don't really have any. I mean, if they act like on Lower Decks in Strange New Worlds, that's going to be bad. Okay, that's just the way it is. We really had a good time doing that with our extended family and the other shows, both on the camera and off. And of course, Jonathan Frakes directed. There's so many ways it's Star Trek melting pot. That's something, and there are more, but far be it from me to spoil. Okay, you can spoil away. Yep. Doink. Frakes, we tell Goldsman did reveal details at the animated live-action episode in SFX early this year. Here's the thing. Jonathan should never, ever, ever have a state secret, right? Okay. There's not a thing Jonathan won't tell you. I would say it's because you could ply him with drink, but really no plying required. I believe that's pretty true. I will say that there are full-on animated pieces in the episode, but the hero portion of the episode is on the Enterprise and Strange New Worlds universe. That's interesting. They're saying universe. That is interesting. Maybe they're going to say this is in a separate universe. That would make it better. There seems to be this weird push to have Star Trek reconnect to its audience. We've had 20 episodes of them screaming that, and I think Strange New Worlds was a bit of a revelation for me last year. So that's interesting. Not only are they faced with the challenge of blending the animation with the live action, it's also mixing two different styles of show. It's very difficult to integrate drama with comedy. Yes, especially as Strange New Worlds, as what's names isn't funny. Lower Decks isn't funny. Goes on off. It is. It's also difficult to integrate anime with non-anime because they're tonally they're different. Really, it's credit to Tawny Newsom as Mariner and Jack Quaid as Boimer, because the way you play the character in animation, the way you play it in live action requires a different level, different sort of modulation, different performances. Okay, so basically they put on costumes and they acted like the people rather than just like wearing their pajamas. Not really worrying, right? From behind the camera, is what you're saying. They acted. Well, okay, good. I don't know that they think anyone would be interested by this who likes Strange New Worlds. I don't know. Fine. It's just an example of how wildly different the kind of act. Okay, I don't give a shit. Okay, I don't give a shit. Move on from this quickly. Lower deck, blah 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 blah. Don't care. Honestly, Strange New Worlds is the only is the only show I've ever been on where we yearn for the double episode. When the writers were breaking the season, we have 10 more good ones. We discard 10, and then we discard 10, and there are that are as good as the 10 we kept, because we just don't know. We don't have the space for it. You sort of wish for back to the old 24 episode of season. Oh yes, me too, actually. Because there's so much you can do. I wish. He's just said the right thing. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's go back a bit, see what we missed. Now we moved away from Lower Decks. Oh, that piece of shit that is. Despite that challenge, Goldman isn't ruling out future crossovers. I am promiscuous as it comes when we are discussing crossovers with other series timelines. I'm delighted in that, he chuckles. I think our rule is it can't just be fan service. Which is not to say we don't love servicing fans. But we don't love servicing fans. But there also has to be real storytelling. Look at Trials and Tribulations. That's one, the Deep Space Nine sequel to Trouble with Tribbles. That was a really great story. Okay, fine. Fortunately with Goldsman and his team, a third season has already been commissioned and announced. You carry a couple over, he says, but there's always ones you wanted to do. You couldn't get in the previous seasons, but then you sort of wanted to start again, because you know what you should do? Man, you should do like 10 episodes in a like the fan made one set, right? The Vic Montagna set. And do them like that for the budget of one episode, right? And man, I would love that. They're not made. Wait. 10 for a season. 3 are also delightful. They're not. They're not in the. They're in the not made stage, but we know what they are. And they can do. Okay, fine. So you have an idea what they're doing. I think 10. I would like a 24 episode season. 22. But before we get too far ahead, there's 10 new episodes beaming down from June. The pitch that came in for season 2 was a lot of we're going to do a lot of what we did last year, but more. And that's what we did. Okay, no, that's good. That sounds very promising. We took to the heart the fact the audience seemed to like the which was genre-jumping, close-ended narratives. And some with serialization. What the fuck are you talking about? What? It was a real harkening back to the original series when it came to the occasional O. Henry-esque or Twilight Zone-esque turn, where and that's something that you're looking. That what? Something you're in there shining. 1 second. Very hot, by the way. I was surprised how hot she is. In there shining. Oh, Karen Kane. A light on. Okay, Karen Kane, you are one of the reasons I'm not excited. Right? I'm worried. But I like that they got the right toggle switches. Oh, that looks lovely. Did they change that this year? But I really like that. That was like I found the storytelling is really good. The one with Uhura where she what's the name? The chief engineer dies. It was a brilliant episode, right? And its point is trying to help her find out her place in the world, her place in reality. And she comes to the idea. That's a basic Jewish concept called Yehud. Like, what is your life's purpose, right? And she decides she wants to make her life purpose connecting people, helping people communicate, right? And she's gone through all the different stations in the Enterprise as a cadet. And she comes out of that, this really life-changing moment, right? She's had a fantastic arc this season. She could have been such a boring Mary Sue, and she was a great character. I think kudos to the writing, but especially the performance, right? But she comes out for a personal tragedy story arc, finding her feet, knows about being in space, finding herself, right? Going through this wrenching tragedy, right? When getting a close connection with the chief engineer and him dying, and her bringing her to her life's purpose, right? Which is she wants to help people communicate with each other. And she looks over the communication station, right? At the end of the episode, it's fucking beautiful, right? It is absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful piece of storytelling, right? What I think, there's tiny little things like that I really appreciate it, right? It's really great, really great story. Great episode, right? And also, I like the Gorn. I think they're fun, right? I think they're fun. So we're happy to keep doing it. Fine. We're basically reinforcing that fans, if fans haven't liked it, we certainly wouldn't end up doing something more traditional. But we're really happy to keep doing it. Yeah, I also like that last episode. It was like a redux of what's it? Can't remember the episode name. Bloody hell. Describing the show as an ensemble piece, I agree. They do try and service everybody all the time. Most of the ensemble's excellent. With good reason, we will kind of let people almost not be in an episode in order to dig deep into who they are in the centerpiece. I hope they're having to pull back. She was great. Oh, she was so hot as well. He says this allows a deeper intimacy with the characters. We're always looking to make sure everybody gets a good equal time. Nurse Chapel has a great arc as well with Spock. And again, excellent performance from Jess Bush, as well as being insanely hot. Right, fantastic. But I'm glad we had a second season to sort of pull some of that folks that we might not have gotten that much screen time in season 1. That means we're getting more Lieutenant Lesbian Latinx, unfortunately, I think. The time frame of the season means it's largely they're bound by canon. Is it complicated? It is, okay. Really, I'm surprised. In fact, it's fun. If you like, it's and if you don't like, it's probably horrific. Part of what's interesting is interpolating history. There are pieces that are dark that we're filling in. Having said that, we will body check canon and body check canon when we need to. But no, there's no canon. Okay, stop. And we've moved some folks around in terms of timeline. We check canon, then we ignored it. We put some folks together who aren't necessarily canonically together at the same time. We pull things forward because ultimately story wins. Okay, that's the important thing for me, right? And trying to stay within canon is an awfully fun exercise, which leads to solutions you might not come up with if you hadn't had those boundaries. Having boundaries is a good thing. The original series era is far enough away to not loom large in their plans for Strange New Worlds, Goldsman says, noting that there are a certain point where you have to hit the cage and where no man's gone before, right? Allowing to have Spock move up and down the emotional scale before becoming fully logical. We don't really have to worry about the implementers who are hitting TOS. But we're thoughtful in the same way that we're thoughtful about Pike's journey, where he has to go and how that works. I don't mean his death because God knows we talked about that until we're blue in the face. Thank God it's gone. As soon as they flushed it, it got a lot better. That was a really boring sight. Everything they inherited from Discovery was shit. Right? As soon as they shook it off, it got much better. But you can see, this is the thing. This is the problem with them having this delusion that Discovery wasn't unwatchable shit. No, it was unwatchable shit. Right? Anything you think to the contrary is not the case. No, it was unwatchable shit. Right? It still is. It's still unwatchable shit. Right? Up to. So you don't really worry about who is or isn't, but canonically, but where just where he is canonically in terms of location, who is and who isn't on the Enterprise. But you can see that stuff where a little bit we're already in a violation. Yes, well, we've seen that quite a few places. We've already pulled some folks into the shit who probably shouldn't be there. At least we're certainly we certainly never heard of her being on Pike's Enterprise. And yet there she is. We are thoughtful but not slavish. I like that combination again. I do like that combination. And I know a lot of people hate it, but I think that works for this. Someone you'll see seeing more of ahead of his established return is a future captain, right? What we're dealing with is Lieutenant Kirk, is Lieutenant Kirk, First Officer Kirk. We're not dealing with Captain Kirk, right? There's an opportunity there where Goldsman explains Paul Wesley is really this wonderful to me hybrid of Shatner and his own. Yeah, he's too thin. He's too little though. That's what I call service. By his moment in the Kirk timeline where he's dating Carol Marcus. So okay, so that's interesting. You would never consider using digital technology to recreate beloved characters as recently as embraced by the Star Wars universe. I would consider it. My friend Terry Metalis, Karney Shomron, is not alone in feeling. There's Jess Bush looking insanely hot. Frustrated when Kirk's death in canon. And why his body is in Dacian Station? It's really a hard thing to figure out how and what to do. But none of me oppose it. We just don't have plans for it. I think it's coming, right? It's very, very soon coming. Technology is really there. I mean, look, technology is there for us to make our own shit, right? Let alone they'll be able to make their own digital performers. That's what they'll be called, digital performers. And there are things that I would retcon if I could. Digital performers, I just said it, bloody hell. Could help with that. I think my theory is, yes, sadly, just practically speaking, we have no plans for it. Rehashed old features aside, there are some new characters on board. Chief Engineer Peela, played by Carol Cade. I'm not happy about this. I can tell you about having her on telly is kind of an extraordinary dream come true. How? She's extraordinary. I like Carol Cade. I think she's weird for this role, right? I don't know. I don't want to give too much away about her character because I think she's sort of fun. It comes out pretty quickly. Okay, there's nothing I can say about Carol Cade that hasn't been already said. She can shift from drama to comedy on a dime. She's timing legend. The timing that is legendary is true. She just gives another actor a look and he bursts into hysterics. Okay, look, the first season was good. I shouldn't be dissing it so much, right? As for eternal characters, Goldman says they'd like to see more like Jesse James Keitel as Angel. What? There's a couple of characters that we want to bring back. Jesse's one. Who's Angel? Jesse James Keitel as Angel? Who's Jesse James Keitel? I don't know Jesse James Keitel. Who's Jesse James bloody Keitel? Angel? Who? What? Angel? What episode was that in? Oh, fine. The trans character. She was actually pretty good, right? Yeah. Listen, it's far to me from eating my words, but she was actually very, very good. Or he was good. I don't know. They were good. So bloody confusing. How much longer is this article? Running out of steam. Oh, thank God. We made a Partner Sky, Angel, Harry Mudd team up. I like the Harry Mudd from this era as well. What are the fates of existing characters? Namely, Rebecca remains number one. Last arrested for being genetically altered Ilorian. Until she was seen in the promotional materials for new season. In truth, we know that number one's on Pike's Enterprise in the cage, right? Well, we did know that. So thankfully, Rebecca remains on our show. You can be sure that at either point, either the first episode or the third episode or whatever, she would return to the rank of the role, and that's where she ends up. So when that happens, and when that happens and how that happens, I will not say, but yes, number one remains. Yeah, obviously. Okay, fine. I understand he's got it because he's breaking canon other places. I don't think he's breaking canon needlessly. Again, this is his riff on Star Trek, in my opinion. Before Pike meets his pre-written fate, there's also much adventure to be had with some of the original. I mean, I wish somebody could write a really clever thing around that. With some of the original series having been written or established science fiction authors could be done in the world of TV today. I am friends with Michael Chabon, I'm sorry to hear that, who's a great science fiction writer. No, he isn't. Who writes Star Trek? No, he didn't. And every year for the show, I'm like, God, Michael, you should just write an episode. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. The truth is, television, I guess it's all his friends, right? The truth is, television doesn't really work that way. It's either when you fan side, blah, 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 fine. To write an episode, unless it's a real one-off, requires not just a writing time, but setting the story room time. And that's different today. So I'll say it's possible, and there are a couple of... Okay, I don't care. Hope it doesn't happen. As for immediate future of Strange New Worlds and Star Trek in general, Goldsman has a pretty simple philosophy. You just keep trying to make the thing with people who love it, love the thing, and figure out if you like, yeah, okay, fine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, look, keep doing it. Right? Keep doing it, right? You're doing well. I'm very happy with this. It has lived in many genres, right? And it's interesting thing about Star Trek, almost like science fiction itself, Star Trek allows you to be in space adventures or in home adventures or in planet adventures. And then amongst them, you can be dramas and westerns and comedies. That's true, actually. That's a fair point. So Star Trek has a wide arms when it comes to the kind of entertainment. I mean, that's why I'm always intrigued about what Quentin Tarantino's one was. It seems to be like a remake of a piece of the action, right? And again, I wish you'll do that as like a 6-part miniseries for like a streaming service. Get Leonardo DiCaprio in as Rick Dalton, right? From what's it called again? Once Upon a Time on Holiday. By the way, I didn't know there's a new Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, is this it? Yeah, we will do a quick Tory reaction to this. It's Mark Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser, Jesse Flem. Blimey, that's pretty crazy. Let me download that. YouTube. Oop. Here it comes. Right, let's finish off this article. But yeah, have him playing Rick Dalton, play as a guest star in this mini-series of Star Trek, right? There's been when nerves, right? Well, you are. Well, okay, you are. Maybe they all are. Maybe he just didn't do a shit job. So there still was the Blueprints Enterprise. I always love the Love Boat. I always say the Love Boat was some of his best work. Somebody has to love typing the Love Boat to be entertaining. We love Star Trek. Well, again, I think he does. Right, June 15th. I'm glad it's not long to go. Not long to go. Am I going to do the? Is there anything else? No. Yeah, I am actually kind of looking forward. Other than her, kind of looking forward to it. I very looking forward to it. Cara Kane, don't know what to expect. Feel the same about Shooty Gatwa, though, right? I do feel the same way about Shooty Gatwa. But it's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet! Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop.